Tonight's invocation is being offered by Council Member Dwayne Dominy.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we ask that you bless this body and the discussions we have, that it would be a betterment for our city. We thank you that we live in a country where we can have spirited debate, elections, and come together as a community to do what's right for the long-term success of that community and our country. And again, we ask your blessings upon this meeting tonight and blessings upon this city as we move forward. In Jesus' precious name, I pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Without objection, we'll suspend the calling of the roll and ask the clerk to record the names of the members present throughout the meeting. Is there a motion for adoption of the minutes of our October 19th? We have a motion. Without objection, the minutes will stand approved. Madam Clerk, are there any messages from the mayor?
No, ma'am, there are not.
Thank you. Before we begin, I would first like to welcome Don Jones back to the chamber this evening. Order, please. And I would also like to congratulate Council Member Jim Gatto for winning his election. Council Member Langster.
Thank you. If I could have a moment of personal privilege, if we could send out our prayers and thoughts to Mr. Sonny West, Administrator of the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilman Claiborne.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I had a extraordinary privilege earlier today to attend the 10th anniversary observance of the Davidson County Mental Health Court. This is a court that started by Judge Norman and has now come under the leadership of Judge Eisenstein for the last 6 years. I've attended a couple of their graduations, and it's amazing to hear some of the stories of the people that have come through that program and some of the obstacles that they overcome. Today was the 10th anniversary observance of the court, and Judge Eisenstein had a number of people there that from the state level that have been important in helping to get the court to the place where it's the largest court of its kind in the United States and one of only a very few that exist in the United States. And because I was the only council member there, by default, I accepted on our behalf a plaque of appreciation to the Davidson County Metropolitan Council for the support and the dedication to the people of Nashville. And it's from Judge Eisenstein and his staff. And he made some remarks and was very sincere in expressing to me and asked that I express to you his very sincere thanks and appreciation for the support of this council in making that court possible and the impact that it is able to have on the lives of people. There was a number that was given over the past 10 years. Some 14,000 people have been impacted by this court, and there have been over 900 graduates at the court. So these are productive citizens that have found their way out of the criminal justice system into the regular walk of life. And so on your behalf, this is a plaque of appreciation. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Ryman.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to introduce a young lady that's in the audience tonight. Her name is Amanda Sanders, and she works for PGM Realtors. She's an administrative assistant. And if she would stand, it just so happens that she happens to be my granddaughter.
Thank you. We're now at the election for a member to fill the vacancy on the Health and Education Facilities Board. Who's doing the nomination? He's already been nominated. Okay. Is there a motion for the election of Stephen Meyer? Second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. He is elected. Now we're at the other appointments. Councilman Adkins.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. The Rules and Confirmations Committee met and considered first for the Historical Commission the appointment of Ms. Annette Radkin, and she was approved 10-4, 0 against. I move her approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Councilman Adkins.
Next, for the Transportation Licensing Commission, the reappointment of Jennifer Brundage, and the committee approved 9-0, and I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes.
Next, also for the Transportation Licensing Commission, was Helen Rogers. The committee voted 9-4, none against, and I move her approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes.
And
Councilman Adkins.
For the appointment of Tom Turner, the committee deferred one meeting, 9-4, 0 against, and I move for deferral.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor of deferral, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. When I call your name, please stand and remain standing. Annette Radkin, Jennifer Brundage, and Helen Rogers. On behalf of the Metro Council, thank you for your willingness to serve our great city. We are now at bills on public hearing. The first is BL 2010-746, amends the Metro Code to require that a resident of a dwelling on which a residential amateur radio antenna is located possess a current valid FCC license. Councilmember Page.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Please open the public hearing.
Thank you. Could I see a show of hands of those in support? A show of hands of those in opposition. Seeing none on either side, I declare the public hearing closed. Councilmember Page.
Thank you. I move approval.
Second. Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Next is BL 2010-753, amends the Metro Code to designate bars and restaurants as uses permitted with conditions and to add certain location restrictions of these uses. Councilmember Wilhoit.
Council Vice Mayor, I'm asking for a deferral, an indefinite deferral on that legislation. It's still at planning.
We have a motion and a second on indefinite deferral. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Indefinite deferral passes.
Thank you.
BL 2010-771 amends 2.39 acres of the Clarksville Specific Plan District located at 2400 Clarksville Pike pertaining to wall-mounted signage. Councilmember Harrison.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Move public hearing, please.
Could I see a show of hands of those in support? Please raise your hand if you're in opposition. Seeing none on either side, I declare the public hearing closed. Councilmember Harrison.
Thank you. With that, I move for approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2010-772 changes 65.49 acres from R40 to AR2A zoning for various properties located at 7739 Charlotte Pike and at Charlotte Pike Unnumbered, west of Sawyer Brown Road. Councilmember Crafton.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I believe the Planning Commission deferred this in order to have a community meeting. I've met with some community leaders, and we've set a tentative community meeting date, so at the request of the Planning Commission, I'm going to defer it. I guess it will be until the January public hearing.
Correct. Is there a second? Second. All in favor of deferral to the January public hearing, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Deferral motion passes. Next is BL 2010-773, changes 7.35 acres from R15 to CL zoning for property located at 7300 Charlotte Pike. Councilmember Mitchell.
Yeah, I move to open the public hearing.
Could I see a show of hands of those in support? Please raise your hand if you're in opposition. Seeing none on either side, I declare the public hearing closed. Councilmember Mitchell.
I move for approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2010-775 changes .0009 acres from CL to CS zoning for property located at 4123 Clarksville Pike. Councilman Gatto.
Open the public hearing, please.
Could I see a show of hands of those in support? A show of hands of those in opposition? Seeing none, I declare the public hearing closed. Councilmember Gatto.
Move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2010-776 changes .1 acres from CN to MUL zoning for property located at 4000 Albion Street. Councilmember Langster.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Move to open the public hearing, please.
A show of hands of those in support. Thank you. Show of hands of those in opposition. Seeing no one in opposition, does anyone in support wish to speak? Seeing none, I declare the public hearing closed. Councilmember Langster.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I move for approval with an explanation, please.
Have a motion and a second. Councilmember.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. We have met with the community surrounding this property. The applicant has been very, very cooperative, and the neighbors are willing to work with him. And on that note, I would like to move for approval on at public hearing.
We already have a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2010-777 amends 5.93 acres of the commercial plan unit development located at Old Hickory Boulevard unnumbered and at the northeast corner of Old Hickory Boulevard and I-40 Zone CL to permit retail and restaurant uses in place of 124-room motel and commercial uses. Councilmember Mitchell.
Yeah, I move to open the public hearing.
Please raise your hand if you're in support. Thank you. Raise your hand if you're in opposition. Seeing no one in opposition, does anyone in support wish to speak? Seeing none, I declare the public hearing closed. Councilmember Mitchell.
Yeah, with that being said, I move for approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2010-778 changes 17.98 acres from AR2A to SP zoning for properties located at 7022 Nolensville Pike unnumbered, and Burkett Road unnumbered at the southeast corner of Nolensville Pike and Burkett Road to permit commercial uses. Councilmember Toller.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Move to open the public hearing, please.
Please raise your hand if you're in support. Thank you. Please raise your hand if you're in opposition. Seeing no one in opposition, does anyone in support wish to speak? Seeing none, I declare the public hearing closed. Councilmember Toller.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2010-779 changes 3.28 acres from IG to SP zoning for property located at 12761 Old Hickory Boulevard to permit a daycare center, personal care instruction, retail and restaurant bar uses, as well as certain uses permitted in the IG zoning district. Councilmember Coleman.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Neighbors, at this time I wish to defer this bill indefinitely. We have some defects in it, so I move to defer indefinitely.
We have a motion and a second for indefinite deferral. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Indefinite deferral passes. BL 2010-780 amends 136.0 acres at the mansion at Fontanelle Specific Plan District for properties located at 4105, 4125, 4225 White Creek's Pike to increase the seating capacity and extend the event season, increase the maximum number of events, and to allow unimproved seasonal parking. Councilmember Hunt.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Neighbors, open public hearing, please.
Thank you. Could I have a show of hands of those in support? A show of hands of those in opposition? Seeing no one in opposition, does anyone in support wish to speak? Seeing none, I declare the public hearing closed. Councilmember Hunt.
Move for approval, please.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2010-781 changes .13 acres from R6 to SP zoning for properties located at 1078 2nd Avenue South and at 112 Mildred Chute Avenue to permit the development of 3 residential dwelling units. Councilmember Moore.
I move to open the public hearing, please.
Could I see a show of hands of those in support? Thank you. Please raise your hand if you're in opposition. Would anyone in support wish to speak? Please come to the lectern. Please state your name and address.
My name is Sean Bales. My address is 3716 West End Avenue. I'm the owner of F&BC Investments, which is the boutique real estate development group that's in charge of this project. We've reached out to the neighborhood. This is actually an SP zoning under the advice of Sonny West and everybody else down at the Howard School to approach this with SP zoning. We've actually built 4 units in an adjacent lot, have rave reviews from the Tennessean. There was a major article to over 150 Facebook friends that we developed a website for marketing. Our firm has won 3 historic Metro Historic Preservation Awards, including the house directly across from this lot that we had fixed up and sold to someone who was already in the neighborhood. I've tried to reach out to everybody in the neighborhood, and we've already went through 1 hearing. There was nobody that showed up. Under the advice of Council Lady Sandra Moore, we had a neighborhood meeting that I hosted at the development in one of the staged empty units that's still for sale. And we, I think, had 6 or 7 people. There was one person that seemed a little angered about it, and I gave him my personal cell phone number and tried to answer any questions, but I felt like the problems that he had was not so much with me and my development, but with a whole set of other things. And I asked him anything I could do to resolve it. I'd be more than happy to. And, you know, we would love to continue what we're doing down there, and we've gotten praise from just about everybody that's come to see it. We'd be more than happy to answer any questions if anybody in opposition has it. We've also reached out to the Neighborhood Association, Mr. David Pritchard, the president of it. We went to a meeting. We've also went to some of the commercial places in the area, including Safe Haven Family Shelter, to reach out to see what we can do to help either be good neighbors or just what they needed to see in that neighborhood. So we've actually employed several people in the neighborhood that has come up and asked for work. As we know, economic times are very hard. We try to leave as little of a footprint in the neighborhood as possible and only strive to do best.
Okay.
If there's any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Thank you. Go right ahead. Please state your name and address.
My name is David Pritchard. I live at 1024 2nd Avenue South. It's about a block, maybe a block and a half from the development we're talking about. I am president of the Neighborhood Association. It's something we have discussed at Neighborhood Association meetings. Also, Sean, who I did not know before, came to the meeting and discussed his plan. He's built the first 4 of the planned units. I think it's 9 total planning. But anyway, for this property here, the neighborhood's overwhelmingly likes it. I mean, everybody I've talked to, and being president of the neighborhood association, talked to a lot of the folks, and they really, they like what it's doing for the neighborhood. We've been riddled with crime and drugs dealing on the street on 2nd Avenue. This kind of development helps curtail that. It's something the police have come directly to me before and said, you can do more by building homes and getting new people to move into the neighborhood than having these vacant properties or run-down properties. You can do more by refurbishing and building new homes than the police could do on their watch. And so that's what they've told us before. Anyway, I think they're beautiful. I think it's an asset to the neighborhood. And I was also when Sean had a meeting with Council Lady Moore at one of the homes, hearing problems. Mr. Lee, who is in opposition, and I appreciate his opinion, but most of his complaints were about the buildings being too close and things that really weren't relevant to the question that you're voting on tonight. They more had to do with, he disagreed with codes in general in what they allowed to be built. And that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone in opposition wish to speak?
My name is Benny Lee, 1059 2nd Avenue South. The 4 units he want to build is it'll be less than 5 feet from the sidewalk, right? You have, we looked at the drawings the other night.
Would you please address the council?
Okay, we looked at the drawings the other night. There's not enough space for it. He have 4 units there now and anticipating building 3 more. And on the adjacent side, they are still empty. The young man that just finished speaking, he built 2 up the street. They are not selling, they're just sitting vacant. And there's not enough space, and I've noticed the construction on them. They don't have any fire protection, anything, no firewalls or anything in it. And I don't want it in the neighborhood. It's not right for the neighborhood. They sit there vacant. His been vacant for about 1.5 years or more. And I just don't understand how codes could have passed it sitting that close to the street and those houses built that close together. And like I say, I observed the construction of it. I didn't see any fireproof material, any firewalls or anything being put in those units. And now he want to put 3 on the street side. And I wish you people could drive by and just look at the space between the sidewalk and where he want to put it. And that'll be bad for the neighborhood. And I don't see how codes could allow him or the other young man to build those houses in that neighborhood. And I'd like for it to be looked at and checked closely. Check the specification on the building and see whether or not the materials used were supposed to be used. I don't want that in the neighborhood.
Okay, thank you. Seeing no one else wishing to speak, Councilmember Moore.
I move for approval with a brief explanation.
Have a motion and a second. Councilmember.
If someone from the planning department could at least just explain to Mr. Lee what, his concerns are.
Basically, this is an area that is zoned for duplexes. They have put up 2 duplexes so far. They've got a little larger lot on the end, and they're proposing to put up 3 units on this part. They have been inspected by codes and do comply with all the codes as far as I'm aware.
Thank you. Councilmember Moore.
Again, I renew my motion to move for approval. Thank you.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2010-782 amends the Metro Code relative to personal care services in Nashville and Davidson County. Councilmember Gatto.
Open the public hearing, please.
Could please raise your hand if you're in support. Please raise your hand if you're in opposition. Seeing none on either side, I declare the public hearing closed. Councilmember Gatto.
Move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2010-783 amends the Metro Code relative to non-conforming uses and structures. Councilmember Cole.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. I need to move to defer to the January public hearing with a brief explanation, please.
Have a motion and a second. Councilman?
At the last Planning Commission meeting, this was deferred, I think, until their December 9th public meeting. It's a pretty significant rewrite of the code. We've got a number of interest groups that are going to be meeting and working on it, and we just want to take plenty of time for it to be discussed, and that's our intent. So I renew my motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of deferral to the January public hearing, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Deferral motion passes. BL 2010-784 amends the Metro Code to provide for relocation of non-conforming uses. Councilmember Holland.
Move to open the public hearing, Vice Mayor.
Please raise your hand if you're in support. Please raise your hand if you're in opposition. Seeing no one in support, do you wish to speak in opposition? Please come to the lectern and state your name and address.
Thank you. My name is Amy Bryson, and I live at 1038 Petway Avenue in District 5. That's 3 houses down from Gallatin. I'm asking respectfully that you defer this bill. Councilman Holland, Councilman Cole, and Councilman Jamison, I respectfully ask that you have a public meeting in regard to the relocation of non-conforming uses and structures so that the community can better understand the pros and cons of this bill. As the bill reads right now, if the Board of Zoning Appeal determines that the relocation is necessary to better achieve the purpose and intent of the zoning district and the proposed relocation site of relocating non-conforming use is determined to be compatible with the uses within the area. There are 3 words in this that make me feel very uncomfortable: purpose, intent, and compatibility. Well, they can mean something that's very positive to a community. They can also mean something very negative to a community. For instance, non-conforming uses and structures where I live with the Gallatin SP usually means about 3 top things: check cashing, pawn shops, and used tire stores. So my concern, living 3 doors down from Gallatin, is I have Cash America across the street, Title Max on the corner. On the next block is Granada, and I have advanced cash checking on Granada. So what is for Sharp? Or what is for West Greenwood? Would we look at this area from West Eastland in District 5 on this side of Gallatin as being the check cashing or pawn shop alley if we start moving these businesses around? My concern is that there's no discussion on saturation with this. We can just pick up and start moving in an open location, and like I said, we can have check cashing places on every corner in my community on my side of Gallatin. Not that we're afraid of new businesses. We want new businesses. Check cashing places don't employ a lot of people. Restaurants do. Hair salons do. These are businesses that employ more people. So as I'm asking for this bill to be deferred, like its sister bill, 2010-783, to be deferred to January 9th at the public hearing, it'll be really important for the community and the council members can direct their concerns and have their concerns answered in regard to this bill. That could possibly be very detrimental to the community. Thank you very much for your time and your leadership, council. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Seeing no one else wishing to speak, I declare the public hearing closed. Councilmember Holland.
I'm going to move to defer with a brief explanation, Vice Mayor. This bill
We have a second. Councilman.
This bill was, the genesis of it is so we can get a Publix to Gallatin Road because there's a problem with one of their existing tenants. However, the bill in its current form, one provision specifically requires that the relocating non-conforming use move to a location that meets the standards of the underlying zoning district, in this case SP. Well, that defeats the entire purpose of the bill. So until we can get it amended, I'd like to move that one meeting deferral.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for a 1 meeting deferral. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Next is BL 2010-785, changes .22 acres from CS to SP zoning for property located at 1044 Murfreesboro Pike to permit all uses by CS zoning and automobile repair. Councilmember Birch.
Move public hearing, please.
Please raise your hand if you're in support. Please raise your hand if you're in opposition. Seeing none on either side, I declare the public hearing closed. Councilmember Birch.
Move for approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Councilman Duvall.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I would like to ask for a suspension of the rules for the purposes of withdrawing a bill, BL 2010-658, please.
Is there any objection? BL 2010-658 makes provisions to an urban design overlay district known as the Pinhook UDO to 88.39 acres of property zoned RM9 located at 3534 and 3562 Pinhook Road unnumbered, and at Hamilton Church Road unnumbered east of Murfreesboro Pike. Councilmember Duvall.
Thank you. I'd like to move the withdrawal.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor of the withdrawal, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. We're now at items on the consent agenda. Councilman Stein.
Yes. Madam Vice Mayor, I had a late resolution that went to the committee, and I would, there's a letter on everyone's desk. It honors the Nike Corporation for the work that they did after the flood. There's a group of folks that want to honor them. They sent all the information in very late, but they want to honor them in 2 weeks. So I would request a suspension of the rules to allow this to be added to the consent agenda.
Is there any objection? Seeing none, Councilman Adkins.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. The Rules and Confirmations Committee approved 9-4, none against. Thank you.
Okay, we have...
You want me to do the whole calendar? Yeah, sorry about that.
You just give me one count if it's the same.
Yeah, it was all the same, except for... Uh, 1438, no wait, sorry. Yeah, 1432, I need to abstain from that. Thank you.
Okay. Is there a second? Second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The consent agenda is passed. Councilman Stein.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. A point of personal privilege, I think this will fall under that. 1432, from which Councilman Atkins has just abstained, is actually a resolution that honors him. The intention tonight is to present this to him, but we have 3 colleagues that wish to sign this that are not here tonight, so he doesn't actually get his copy. But this resolution honors him for his tenure as president of the Tennessee County Services Association. This is a major deal, folks. This is a major statewide organization, and Greg is the first person from Davidson County to chair that organization since Beverly Briley did it in 1954. He has just ended his tenure with this organization, and I am told by many folks that have worked with him that he represented this county and represented us with distinction, and I thought that he and most of you all have all joined me in wishing to honor him and acknowledge him for his service to that organization and for representing us so well. Greg, we thank you, and you'll get this as soon as everybody gets here to sign it. Thank you.
Councilman Adkins, did you wish to speak?
Well, Anna, I really appreciate that. I'm turning red. But I do have an official piece of business, I think, that I need to do, and that's to move to suspend the rules for a late resolution.
We're not there yet.
Oh, we're not there yet. Okay, I'm sorry.
The first is RS 2010-1438 approves the election of certain notaries public for Davidson County. Councilman Adkins.
Sorry about that. I was jumping the gun. Thank you, Vice Mayor. This resolution is our normal notaries. The committee approved 9-4, none against, and I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Councilman Adkins, would you like to ask for a suspension of the
would. Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to ask for a suspension of the rules for a late resolution, and the late resolution is for the nomination of Stephen Meyer that we approved earlier. That we have to adopt a resolution. Is there any objection?
Seeing none, Councilman.
I move that we nominate Stephen Meyer and pass the resolution. I don't have the number of it, but for the Health and Educational Facilities Board. I move approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Meyer, are you still in the audience? Thank you very, very much. Congratulations. We're now at bills on introduction and first reading. Councilman Jernigan.
I'd like to withdraw 709, please.
Okay, and Councilman Gatto.
Pursuant to Rule 12 of the Metro Council rules, I object to the passage of BL 2010-792 on first reading.
Thank you. That one will not be considered due to the objection. Councilman Jernigan pulled 2010-709, modifies definitions and regulations pertaining to floodplain development and associated application reviews. Councilman Jernigan.
Move to withdraw, please.
We have a motion and a second for withdrawal. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Is there a motion for approval? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Is there a motion to adjourn?